For years, people have admired the clean design, smooth animations, and premium feel of macOS. But not everyone wants to buy expensive hardware just to experience that polished desktop environment. In 2026, Linux has evolved far beyond the old stereotype of complicated terminals and outdated interfaces. Today, many Linux distributions look so refined and elegant that they can easily rival Apple's operating system in both appearance and usability. Some distros go even further by intentionally recreating the macOS experience with dock-style launchers, global menus, blur effects, smooth transitions, and carefully designed themes that make users feel instantly at home. Whether someone is switching from a Mac, building a Hackintosh alternative, reviving an old laptop, or simply wanting the Apple aesthetic without the Apple ecosystem restrictions, Linux now offers incredible choices. The first distro that deserves attention is Elementary OS. For years, this distribution has been considered the closest thing to macOS in the Linux world, and in 2026, it continues to dominate that category. The moment the desktop loads, the similarities become obvious. There's a beautiful dock at the bottom of the screen, a clean top panel, elegant system icons, smooth window animations, and a minimalist design philosophy that feels heavily inspired by Apple. But Elementary OS is not just copying macOS. It has built its own identity around simplicity and consistency. Every application follows strict design guidelines, which creates a polished user experience that many Linux distributions struggle to achieve. The Pantheon desktop environment feels incredibly smooth on modern hardware, and even older laptops can run it surprisingly well. Users who switch from MacBooks often say Elementary OS feels familiar within minutes because everything is intuitive. The App Store is visually clean, multitasking feels organized, and the overall desktop avoids clutter. In 2026, the latest version also introduces improved Wayland support, better touchpad gestures, enhanced battery optimization, and a redesigned multitasking view that makes it feel even closer to modern macOS releases. The second distro climbing rapidly in popularity is Zorin OS. Although Zorin OS is primarily designed for Windows users transitioning to Linux, its appearance customization in 2026 has become incredibly advanced. With a single click, users can transform the desktop into a layout that closely resembles macOS. The dock placement, top navigation bar, rounded corners, animations, and icon packs all contribute to an experience that feels premium and modern. What makes Zorin OS stand out is how beginner-friendly it is. Unlike some Linux distros that overwhelm users with options, Zorin simplifies everything. Software installation is easy, drivers are handled automatically, and gaming support has improved dramatically, thanks to better Proton integration. For creators and productivity users, Zorin OS now includes optimized workflows for video editing, music production, and design work. It also performs exceptionally well on laptops, offering excellent battery life and responsive gestures. Similar to Apple's trackpad experience, many people who can no longer afford new Mac hardware are now turning to Zorin OS because it delivers a luxurious desktop experience without the high cost. Another massive contender in 2026 is Deepin Linux. Deepin has always been known for its stunning visual design, but the latest versions push things even further. The Deepin desktop environment looks futuristic while still carrying many macOS-inspired elements. The translucent dock, elegant control center, smooth transitions, and polished application suite create an experience that feels incredibly refined. Deepin's developers pay enormous attention to visual detail, and it shows everywhere. The settings panel feels modern, notifications look stylish, and multitasking animations are fluid and responsive. One reason Deepin stands out is because it doesn't merely imitate macOS visually. Instead, it combines Apple-inspired elegance with unique ideas that make the interface feel fresh. The file manager, music player, App Store, and screenshot tools are all beautifully designed. In 2026, Deepin also improves security, transparency, and system stability, addressing concerns that some users had in earlier years. Performance optimization has become a major focus, and the desktop now runs significantly smoother on a wider range of hardware. For users who prioritize aesthetics above everything else, Deepin remains one of the most visually impressive Linux distros ever created. Then there's Ubuntu Budgie, a distribution that quietly became one of the best macOS alternatives available. Ubuntu Budgie uses the Budgie desktop environment, which naturally lends itself to macOS-like customization. With the right theme and layout, the resemblance becomes remarkable. The Raven sidebar provides quick access to notifications and widgets, while the dock-based workflow feels clean and efficient. What makes Ubuntu Budgie particularly attractive is its balance between beauty and practicality. Underneath the elegant interface lies Ubuntu's rock-solid foundation, meaning users get excellent software, compatibility, long-term support, and one of the largest Linux communities in the world. In 2026, Ubuntu Budgie introduces smoother Wayland sessions, redesigned menus, and enhanced touchpad gesture support that significantly improves the overall desktop feel. It's a distro that manages to look stylish without sacrificing performance or reliability. A newer but rapidly growing name in the Linux community is blendOS. This distro has exploded in popularity because it combines multiple Linux ecosystems into one unified system. But beyond its technical innovations, blendOS in 2026 also offers one of the cleanest and most modern desktop experiences available. With GNOME, heavily customized using macOS-inspired themes, dock extensions, and gesture navigation, the system feels incredibly close to using an Apple desktop. The animations are fluid, app launching feels instant, and the overall workflow emphasizes simplicity. One of blendOS's biggest strengths is its immutable architecture, which improves system stability and security. Users can experiment with software from Arch, Ubuntu, Fedora, and other ecosystems without worrying about breaking the system. For creators and developers who love the macOS aesthetic but want Linux flexibility, blendOS has become an exciting option. Garuda Linux also deserves a place on this list, especially its GNOME and KDE Dragonized editions customized with macOS themes. Garuda takes a very different approach compared to minimalist distros like Elementary OS instead of simplicity. It focuses on power, visual effects, and performance enhancements. In 2026, Garuda offers incredibly smooth animations, transparent blur effects, floating docks, and advanced customization tools that can transform the desktop into a macOS-inspired powerhouse. Gaming performance on Garuda is particularly impressive thanks to its Arch Linux base and performance optimizations. Users who want a visually stunning Linux experience with modern hardware acceleration often gravitate toward Garuda. Despite being flashy, the distro has matured significantly over the years and now provides much better stability and usability for beginners. Fedora Workstation with customized GNOME is another strong contender. While Fedora itself does not directly imitate macOS out of the box, the GNOME desktop environment has evolved in ways that naturally resemble Apple's design philosophy. In 2026, GNOME's gesture system, workspace management, and minimalist approach make Fedora feel extremely modern and elegant. With a few extensions like Dash to Dock and custom icon packs, Fedora can become nearly indistinguishable from macOS at first glance. But the real advantage of Fedora lies in its cutting-edge technology. Fedora often introduces the newest Linux innovations before other distributions, meaning users get excellent Wayland support, advanced security features, and modern hardware. Developers especially love Fedora because it balances stability with innovation. For users wanting a sleek, professional Linux desktop with a macOS vibe, Fedora has become one of the smartest choices available. KDE Neon is another distro that surprises many people in 2026. KDE Plasma has evolved dramatically over the years, and today it is one of the most beautiful and customizable desktop environments ever created. With the right dock configuration, global menu setup, blur effects, and icon themes, KDE Neon can recreate the macOS experience almost perfectly. The flexibility is incredible. Users can customize every detail of the interface, from window behavior to animations and panel layouts. Unlike macOS, which limits customization heavily, KDE Plasma gives users complete freedom while still maintaining a polished appearance. In 2026, Plasma 7 introduces even smoother animations, HDR support, better fractional scaling, and improved performance. KDE benefits directly from these advancements because it always ships the latest Plasma releases. The result is a Linux desktop that feels futuristic, responsive, and incredibly refined. PearOS has also made a surprising comeback in recent years. Older Linux users may remember PearOS as one of the original macOS-inspired Linux distros. After disappearing for a long time, community-driven efforts revived the project with modern technologies and improved stability. In 2026, PearOS once again focuses entirely on recreating the Apple desktop experience. From the startup animations to the dock and system icons, almost every visual detail feels inspired by macOS. What makes PearOS interesting is its dedication to simplicity. Users who want something that immediately feels like a Mac without heavy customization often choose PearOS. It's lightweight, visually attractive, and easy to use. While it may not have the massive community of Ubuntu or Fedora, it appeals strongly to users seeking a direct macOS replacement. One distro that cannot be ignored anymore is QtFishOS. Even though the project faced uncertainty in earlier years, it has regained momentum with a redesigned desktop environment that looks remarkably similar to macOS. The interface emphasizes soft shadows, rounded corners, clean typography, and elegant animations. In 2026, QtFishOS feels incredibly modern and lightweight at the same time. The developers focus heavily on user experience, ensuring that every interaction feels smooth and polished. The dock behavior, multitasking interface, and control center all resemble Apple's design language while still retaining Linux flexibility underneath. Users who value aesthetics and simplicity are increasingly drawn toward Qt because it feels approachable and modern right from the first boot. One fascinating trend in 2026 is how Linux distributions are no longer merely copying macOS visually. Instead, many are adopting the deeper design principles that made macOS popular in the first place. Clean interfaces, consistent application design, fluid animations, touchpad gestures, distraction-free workflows, and smooth user experiences have become priorities across the Linux ecosystem. The result is that Linux now feels dramatically more polished than it did even a few years ago. New users no longer need to spend hours editing configuration files just to achieve a beautiful desktop. Many distros now deliver a premium experience immediately after installation. Another major reason these macOS-like Linux distros are gaining popularity is hardware freedom. Apple hardware is undeniably beautiful, but it's also extremely expensive and restrictive. In contrast, Linux gives users complete control over their systems. Someone can install a polished Linux distro on an affordable laptop, a gaming PC, or even older hardware, and still enjoy a premium desktop experience. In 2026, Linux hardware compatibility has improved tremendously. Wi-Fi drivers, GPU support, Bluetooth functionality, and power management are far better than before. This means users can achieve a Mac-like experience without sacrificing flexibility or spending thousands of dollars. Gaming is another area where Linux has changed dramatically. A few years ago, many users avoided Linux because of limited game support. But thanks to Valve's continued investment in Proton and Steam Deck technologies, Linux gaming in 2026 is stronger than ever. Many of these macOS-like distros now support AAA gaming surprisingly well. Distros like Garuda Linux and Fedora offer excellent gaming performance while still looking elegant and modern. This creates a unique advantage because macOS itself is still relatively weak for gaming compared to Windows and Linux. Content creators are also increasingly exploring Linux alternatives. Applications like Blender, DaVinci Resolve, Krita, OBS, and many development tools work exceptionally well on Linux now. Combined with macOS-inspired desktops, Linux has become appealing to video editors, programmers, designers, and streamers who want both beauty and productivity. Many creators appreciate the freedom Linux provides, especially compared to Apple's tightly controlled ecosystem. They can customize workflows, optimize performance, and avoid expensive upgrade cycles while still enjoying a visually stunning operating system. Security and privacy also play a huge role in Linux's growing popularity. In 2026, many users are becoming more aware of data collection, telemetry, and ecosystem lock-in. Linux distributions offer greater transparency and user control. While macOS remains relatively privacy-focused compared to some competitors, Linux still provides unmatched openness. Users can choose exactly how their system behaves, what software runs, and how updates are managed. For many people, combining privacy with a beautiful macOS-like interface feels like the best of both worlds. What's especially interesting is that the line between Linux and premium commercial operating systems continues to blur. Years ago, Linux desktops often felt experimental or inconsistent. But today, many Linux distros genuinely feel professional and mature. Animations are smoother, interfaces are cleaner, software support is stronger, and installation processes are simpler than ever before. Some users who try modern Linux distros for the first time are shocked by how polished the experience has become. In some cases, Linux desktops even outperform macOS in terms of responsiveness and customization. The competition among Linux desktop environments has also accelerated innovation. GNOME focuses on minimalism and gesture-driven workflows. KDE Plasma pushes customization and advanced visual effects. Pantheon emphasizes consistency and elegance. Deepin prioritizes aesthetics and fluidity. Budgie blends simplicity with familiarity. This diversity means users can choose an experience that perfectly matches their preferences while still maintaining the macOS-inspired look they love. Another reason these distros are thriving is the rise of open-source design culture. Developers today understand that appearance matters. Users no longer want operating systems that merely function well. They want systems that feel beautiful and enjoyable to use every single day. Linux developers have embraced this reality, leading to a wave of visually refined desktops that compete directly with commercial operating systems in terms of design quality. As 2026 continues, the future of Linux desktops looks incredibly exciting. Artificial intelligence integration, improved Wayland support, HDR compatibility, better touch support, and enhanced performance optimizations are all shaping the next generation of Linux experiences. Many of these features are arriving faster on Linux than users might expect. The idea that Linux is only for programmers or tech enthusiasts is rapidly fading away. Today, Linux can be elegant, accessible, beautiful, and user-friendly while still offering unmatched flexibility underneath. For users searching for the perfect macOS alternative, these Linux distros prove that they no longer need Apple hardware to enjoy a premium desktop experience. Whether it's the minimalist elegance of elementary OS, the visual beauty of deepin, the flexibility of KDE Neon, the simplicity of Zorin OS, or the innovation of blendOS Linux, now offers choices for every type of user. Some people want pure aesthetics. Others prioritize customization, gaming, productivity, or performance. The incredible part is that Linux can now deliver all of those experiences while still looking absolutely stunning. The rise of these macOS-inspired Linux distributions signals something much bigger happening in the world of personal computing. Users are demanding freedom, flexibility, affordability, and design quality all at the same time. Linux is finally reaching a point where it can offer all of those things without compromise. And in many ways, 2026 may be remembered as the year when Linux desktops truly entered the mainstream conversation as legitimate premium operating systems rather than niche alternatives.